Hi, everybody. Welcome to Giant TV. I'm Paul Hitchcock, the founder and president of Giant Jacks Media. We're helping other solopreneurs, business coaches, businesses to grow and nurture. Really excited for this episode. I have Tom Chowaniec here. Tom, welcome.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Really looking forward to talking to you.
Yeah, and it's so great. You and I have had a chance to talk offline, gotten to know you a bit. You're doing some really incredible things, and so I want to jump into this, Tom. You're a business and executive coach, and you're solving a lot of issues for companies. So tell me, how did you get into what you're doing now, and then what is your focus right now?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Paul. I started the franchise after I had been working for 12 years for three private equity owned companies. I was CEO and executive vice president. We sold two to strategic buyers.
Nice.
So after that, I knew just I had been involved with seven acquisitions of small companies. I've been acquired four times. So I love helping small and medium sized business owners accelerate their results, really both professionally and personally. So I knew I wanted to make that transition into more of a formal coaching role. And so I signed on and acquired a franchise through Focal Point,
Hmm.
which is a very well-known business and executive coaching organization. It's been around for 20 years, has 50,000 satisfied clients. And so that was
Nice.
really the transition I wanted to make, is just moving into helping the small and medium-sized business owners.
Yeah, and so that's a great background. And I always ask because you did a big transition in your life. You went from working for businesses to going into your own business. Was there any trepidation on your part of doing that? Or you just, guns blazing, I'm going and boom.
No, a tremendous amount of trepidation, Paul. I mean, there's a
Good, you're human. I was going to
yeah.
say we all have
Oh,
that.
it's a roller coaster ride. You
Yeah,
go
yeah.
from being on top of the world, this is the greatest thing ever, to what am I doing? The corporate roles are very stable. It's
Yeah.
a daily, you know what you're doing, you know how many, for the most part, you know the number of hours you're putting in. But making that transition while high level of anxiety and trepidation, I would do the exact same thing over again.
Yep, no, agree. And somebody told me one time, I just thought it was great, that if you're making that transition, you can't leave one foot in your old scenario, right? It is, you're done, clean cut, you're going forward. Because you had that one foot back there, it doesn't give you all the 100% confidence you need over here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I had to go like all in, jump into the pool, burn the
Yeah.
bridges. Yeah, exactly. I know some other folks who've done business and executive coaching and try to still hold on to their W-2, and it doesn't work. It becomes, even more anxiety.
More anxiety. Yeah. So tell me now, what are you focused on? Who are you working with? And what does that look like? Very curious.
Yeah, so I focus on financial advisors and in healthcare. I have a strong healthcare background. I also have clients across other industries, but those are my ideal clients, is across financial advisors and healthcare. Either I have pharmacy clients, I have med device clients, and other spots within healthcare.
Why are they ideal for you? Because your background or because there's a common thread woven amongst those niches that you're addressing?
Yeah, both really. The background, I have background in both spots. I have my MBA from the University of Chicago with concentrations in finance and marketing. So I've always been able to relate to and work with wealth managers and financial advisors. And then my background within healthcare includes stops at GE Healthcare, Leica Microsystems, Cardinal Health, and McKesson. So large Fortune 100 organizations, and then also some small startups who were acquired by those larger organizations. So I'm kind of in a unique spot to be able to relate to the different growth trajectories of different size healthcare organizations.
Yeah. And so what are you doing when you're going in and working with these financial advisors and others, working with the teams, the leaders? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, usually it's working with the leaders, but then expands out to working with the teams depending on what we're focusing on. So, back to your earlier question, we talk about issues and challenges that are being faced by the business. Everybody's got issues and challenges. And then we discuss whether it's more kind of clarity Do we need to more better define exactly what's going on within the organization, mission, vision, values, goals, SMART goals, and then roles and responsibilities? Or is it more of a team oriented issue? Or is it margins? Or is it exit planning? So it's really that, or is it time management? So time management and delegation are frequently a big issue in small and medium size organizations. So is it time, team, money, or planning? Those are the four areas that I like to concentrate.
Okay, so those are could be the problems going on, the challenges, and you're coming in and have a process for addressing that. Uh, so what happens then? I mean, are people aware that they have these problems, or through an initial discussion with you, stuff starts surfacing?
Yeah, so it's usually we have a three-step sales process. The first is just a discovery conversation. Hey, do you actually have, how are you working against your goals recently? And then the second is a 20-minute coaching call. And then last we call a strategic business review, which is an hour-long conversation. So after those three steps in the sales process, it's really an easy process. It's not, I'm not selling anything. It's we come to a mutual decision that we should be working together and that I can actually help accelerate results for that person or for that team. We come to an agreement. It really is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, as you and I have chatted, I've recognized that about you, where it's got to be a right fit both ways. And that initial interaction you have, sort of exploratory, let's see what's going on. You'd be the first to tell them, hey, I'm not the right fit for you, or whatever the case is. If I can help you, here's what that would look like. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, very true. And that's the nice thing about being part of a global organization like Focal Point is I have the curriculum, to your point, Paul, to be able to address each of those items that I talked about. If it's a time management issue, I have modules that I work through with either the leader, the CEO, the CFO, the COO, or people on their team to get them to follow, here's how you break down your 80/20, and here's how you delegate. And so I've got access to lots of materials and 50,000 satisfied clients across the world that have been coached by Focal Point coaches over the last 20 years. So I have access to not only my own experience, I have access to 300 coaches and all of that material.
That's great. And I imagine at a probably at a pretty high level, you're an accountability guy for the people you're working with, which we all need, right? I mean the best athletes in the world have coaches who make them
Yeah,
accountable. Is that do you find that you are that person?
I totally am. I become a business partner, and then I'm also an accountability coach and an accountability partner. I mean, I need to act as an accountability partner for I need other Focal Point coaches at times to be my accountability
Absolutely.
partners.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it,
Yep.
it is key for everyone. And if you try, we don't all write things down. We don't write our goals down. We don't write all of our actions, and so we can all get better at that.
Yeah. And how long does an interaction last with you and a client? You go into a business, what does that look like?
Yeah, we make results very quickly. My behavioral assessment, Paul, we do DISC behavioral assessments
Oh
at
yeah,
Focal
yeah.
Point, and I'm a high D, so I'm all about results. So I like to get results. When we talk about an issue or a challenge that you're facing, we're going to pick the top challenge, and I want to see results with you very quickly. After that, then we end up tackling a lot of other items, which might include coaching for your team. So the engagements last between a year and 2 years, but we're getting results right away. I mean, within
Yeah.
the first 2 months. So if we're not seeing results within the first 2 months, then I'm questioning what I'm doing and I'm questioning if you are all in.
Sure. Yeah. And um and are you on site or is it virtual? Both?
I do both. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like to get started if we are local, I like to get started face to face.
Yeah.
But some of my clients are not, within the Chicagoland or Illinois area, so it's 100% online.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think about it because you remember pre-pandemic that you mentioned Zoom to somebody, and a lot of people were Zoom, what? Zoom, what's Zoom? Everybody's online today, and there's so much efficiency around, like what you and I are doing right now and others, so it works.
Yeah, incredibly
Yeah.
efficient. Agree.
Yeah. And so then you when you're working with folks, you've got to, if you're working with a team, for example, do you ever have issues where people aren't buying in, or is that part of the process of you got to get buy-in with team members, right? Because a CEO owner may say, okay, this is great, you and I, we got this going, but pulling other people in, disparate personalities, you have to be good at doing that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why some of the material is kind of go-to material. When I was talking about behavioral assessments, people do end up appreciating understanding what different primary behavior styles their teammates have. So talking about behavioral assessments within a team, and then I do a workshop called Communication Breakthroughs, where we
Uh,
talk about adjusting your style according to the primary behavior style of the person that you are working with. So that's usually a nice way to break down even the most kind of fervent, folks who are kind of anti the whole coaching process. They see, hey, wait a second, this is something that I can really benefit from. And then if we throw in some personal related goals, or if I get into, there's a other curriculum that I have that's called Trust Edge, where we
hmm,
talk about trust across the teams because trust is the greatest expense that you have within your organization. A
yep.
lot of other issues get masked, but they really are trust issues at the core. So a lot of people aren't willing to admit that they don't have the level of trust that they should as a leader, but they really don't.
Yeah, yeah. No, that communication, and I was going to ask you about that. You brought it up, but I'm just fascinated by communication, everywhere, workplace, out of the workplace. And it is so dynamic. And I've had other folks on the show talking about communication. So many interesting things come up. First of all, just the art of listening is dead in many ways today, and I know I'm sure in your role, you've got to focus on that because leaders need to listen in certain ways. Would you
Yes,
say?
yeah, and
Yeah.
open-ended questions too, Paul. We don't ask enough who, what, when, where, why, and
Yeah.
how questions, to get the other person to really open up and drill in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know it's because, in a lot of discussions when you're talking to people, people talk at each other and aren't listening so much. Even in a work environment, somebody will say something, and instead of asking a follow-on question to learn about it, you'll just go on and talk, oh yeah, I had the same thing go on or something over here. It's not a deeper level of communication that gets to the root of issues. I know that's my kind of out
Totally.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, listening to respond. Too many people
Yeah.
only pick level one of the three levels of listening to respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not listening to understand.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Tom, are you from the area that you're in now? Did you grow up there?
Actually, born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, then lived a few places, went to Marquette University undergrad, got an electrical engineering degree, magna cum laude in 93, and then at University of Chicago MBA in 98 with honors. Did some time at Texas Instruments in electrical engineering, but wanted to get into the business world as quickly as possible.
You're one of those guys, huh? You're one of those
Yeah,
guys with those degrees. Damn
yeah.
you. No, that's great. That shows a real discipline. And then where are you going from here? So as we kind of butt up against time here, what's going on, the next 3, 5 years with you as your business continues to develop?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Paul, just running your own business it's dynamic. I'm
Yeah.
looking to continue to expand my client base and bring on some associate coaches because it just brings me such great joy to provide this much benefit, both from a business and executive coaching experience, but then also the workshops that I mentioned to you. So I do negotiation workshops, I do communication breakthroughs workshops, I do the trust edge workshops that I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to keep finding ways to provide that service and coaching here locally in Chicagoland and Illinois, but then expand more across the country.
Love it. Love it. Well, I want to tell everybody that's listening, wherever you're watching this, because we stream it everywhere, LinkedIn, YouTube, I think it's on X, Facebook, that Tom's information is going to be around this video. Maybe it's up here, down here. Get connected to him for sure. And Tom, I imagine do you have a complimentary initial session you do with folks? You'll talk to them and kind of get into the weeds a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can get started, we'll walk through the sales process that I mentioned, and then we'll do a disc assessment, and we will get started. We'll map your initial kind of starting point across four dimensions that involve your family, your health, your business, and your financial independence. It's a great way to get started, Paul, and it really sets the foundation for us moving forward, and for me to act as your accountability partner.
Oh, so you do that up front as you're kicking the tires on somebody, they're kicking the tires on you. You get involved in that, so you really flesh out whether it's working for the two of you.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, nice. No, that's awesome. Great. Well, Tom, yeah, I know you and I will stay in touch. I really look forward to tracking your progress. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time.